bow ties. So look, I am not in front of my computer, so I can't really, look up all of the actual like specifics, but you can do this yourself. So, I was listening to, or I was watching some of the basketball all-star festivities, and Charles Barkley made a comment about how, he wanted to thank Utah for welcoming everybody. And I'm paraphrasing here. You can go back and look it up. And he's like, I had a chance to see John Stockton, and he's like Karl Malone. And the way he had mentioned it was if he wanted to laud and applaud Karl Malone. Now, this is the thing. There is the content out there on Karl Malone and his shenanigans. Now, he's got some anti-blackness in him, but the thing that I wanted to talk about, I don't really care who he's, as far as race-wise, who he's with. I don't even care. I just don't care that much. I care that he fathered a baby, and I believe it was proven in court by a 12-year-old. Can we talk about that for a second? I had forgotten about that. And I was like, Karl Malone, isn't he the one that likes to sleep with little girls? And so I was like, what is going on? But, when I think about people like, Charles Barkley, who acts like a runaway slave all the time anyway. Now, let me segue for a second. Charles Barkley sits up there on TNT with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny Anderson and Ernie. As a group of sports people and journalists or whatever like that, they have great chemistry. Let me just say this though, much from Charles Barkley. He is a buffoon, okay? I'm not saying he doesn't ever have any good points. He made a really good point about, we need to stop comparing LeBron James and Michael Jordan. I've said that before, but not really on here, right? I try not to talk too much about sports, although I love sports. I have a point to all this. There are people who do that much better than me. And I don't follow every single stat. But when I talk to people online, I'm like, they need to stop coming so hard for LeBron. Like, I get it. There's people who are going to be LeBron haters. Fine. But, they're constantly trying to compare. I'm like, leave this man alone. Completely different era. So when he made those kinds of he made those points and all this other stuff like that. And like I said, you guys can go back and watch his interviews. I'm sure somebody out there has it somewhere. He basically was talking about the people who have no sports talent want to sit there and compare LeBron James and Michael Jordan and others. I get that. But oftentimes he's out there acting like he's a court jester, like he's like a modern day step and fetch show. We're just gonna call it the way it is. And he doesn't care, because as long as he's getting the notoriety, the fame and all this other stuff, then he's okay with it. He's happy. Now, he sat down and said basically oh, I'm really excited. Thank you, Utah. The whole hey, I had a chance to meet with the great Karl Malone. And I'm sitting here thinking sorry. My whole thing was, we all fall short, but I feel like in the community, now I'm not going to say the culture, maybe I could include the culture, but in the community, I feel like we have given this man a pass. Because the fact of the matter is, he likes little girls. He has a baby by one. And I don't think I have to say allegedly. I believe it was proven in court that baby came from, he had a baby with a 12-year-old, if I remember correctly. But look, I'm just going to say allegedly until I can go back and reconfirm what I believe I already know. So everything is alleged until proven to be true or untrue. But for him to father a child by a child, and it drives me nuts about the community continuously giving bad actors passes. We don't hold anybody accountable. We have excuses for everything. It's the system, it's the this, it's the that. This man is a full-on file. You know what I'm talking about. But what's worse is, we're so happy and caught up in the celebrity. And so when you put a buffoon, a court jester, a modern day like vaudeville act such as Charles Barkley out there, he's not going to represent the best of the community. If anything, he aligns with the worst parts of culture. He would rather be a modern day step and fetch show and say things like the great Karl Malone. Like, to me, I'm like, we don't need to bring him into any sort of prominence. Because when you're fathering children by children, that in itself is a problem. And he has not been held accountable. And it could be an indictment also on the state of Utah. They have their known issues with the Mormon church and all the things going on with some of the girls and the children and all the stuff like that, and the multiple sister wives situation and all that good stuff. But to sit there and talk about him as if we want to give him high praise, he's known for being abusive and being a file, and you know what I'm talking about. But the ding dong community and culture that is attached to the community is like, we don't hold anyone accountable. We want to look past the whole fact that he's just sticking children. Okay? And so now he has a child that he tried to deny everything about this. But we want to, it's Karl Malone. Not only is it he's anti-black, not only is it a file, he's a bad dad. He's a bad dad. But see, you know what will happen is people will try to say like, oh, he's high value. Is he? I don't care if he has a bajillion dollars. They will say he's high value. What I'm saying is no one has held this joker accountable. He's literally a file. He's a file of the pedo type, of the pedo variety. And we want to sit there and be like, oh, and look, there are going to be people who's going to be like, hey, can we just appreciate the man's basketball? No, I cannot. I cannot. Because see, when I see these things, you know, all I can think about is the fact that he went after a child. Look, we all fall short and we all make mistakes. We have all made mistakes. But something like this, we are glossing past. We're glossing past it. No one's addressing the fact that he literally had relations with the child, denied the child. Okay, and like I said, he's a known, you know, anti-black person anyway. Anyway, I just want to put that out there. When you get somebody like a Charles Barkley, you know, step and fetch, you know, out there doing these silly things, making a fool of himself because that's what he likes to do, I'm like, you know, it's too much. It's too much. He needs to stop talking. But, you know, people want to just, like, they just want to laud and applaud any and everything that people will do because we have no standards in our community. We are a standardless community. We are a community of no standards. So for us, it's okay. Well, he has a lot of money. I mean, he's no different than like a Nick Cannon. The only thing is, as far as we know, Nick Cannon is not dealing with little girls. This is crazy to me. This is why I say I may be part of the community, but I am not part of this whacked out weirdo culture. And I'm not perfect. Let me make this clear. I am not perfect. But I'm like, we cannot applaud these things. We can't do that. But like, oh no, we're just gonna look past it. All right. Y'all know what to do. Go ahead, leave a comment and like this video.